Hello and welcome to Coach Taylor's Kitchen. This is episode 3, but it's like a repeat, so this is a long process making this up. A long time ago, I made a video called Your First Ferment because I want to get people back into fermenting. It's so important and it's so easy. People are so scared of it. And so much of the information you see is so complicated. So I did one on carrots, and I'm going to do the same one again today. So it's not as like the half-hour version that I made last time. But I also have fermented carrots already, and I don't want to do them. So I've actually got these beautiful parsnips that I got at a local farm recently. So I'm just going to do them, the parsnips, which I've never done before. And this will also show the versatility of good fermenting. But you're going to use carrots for your first one. But I've got these parsnips. I want to do it. So fermenting is pretty simple. The concept is you let the bacteria on the vegetables and around you ferment, so essentially process the and preserve the vegetables. There's a few key components: salt and water. That's it. If you are in a place with chlorinated water, you need to let the chlorine dissipate off that. You can't use chlorinated water. If you just leave it sitting out for a couple days, the chlorine will evaporate, or you can just buy distilled water. That's fine. So the idea is you get your vegetable or whatever you're going to ferment, you submerge it under the water with some salt, seal it, and then let the bacteria go to work. That's how complicated it is. So what you need for this process is salt, your vegetable, water, jars, and you're pretty much set. Now, I like to add a little flavor. So you can see I've got some ginger. I had a ginger root. So I just chop that up and I'll toss that in there. I also don't mind it when things have a little bit of spice to them. So I also have these roasted, crushed red pepper flakes. We're going to add a little bit of that in first. But here's the process. You take your vegetable, because you're going to do this with carrots. Remember, carrots. These are parsnips. I know they're not carrots. I'm just going to cut them into sticks. Knife skills, important. And this isn't going to be a video on knife skills, because frankly, I'm just not qualified to do that kind of thing. So we're not going to go into it. So the idea here, or what we want to have, is roughly the same size of all of our little things. These are parsnip sticks, carrot sticks. That's all we're going to make. You get your jar, and these are cheap. Like, go to Canadian Tire, your hardware store, all sorts of places. You buy a case of these for not very much money, and they last over and over again. It's not like they're a one-time use thing. So I like to get them in there so that they're all kind of the same orientation. Dump them down. So the key with fermenting is that the stuff has to stay underwater. So if you're doing a sauerkraut or something like that, you need weights. But this is why this is so easy, with parsnip sticks, or you're doing carrot sticks, you can pack them right in there. So when you pour the water in, they're not going to float. So the water's going to stay above them. And that's a real key with fermenting, is you need to make sure that all of the fermentation vegetables are staying submerged under the water. If they get above the water, they're going to start to get molds, and you don't want molds in your ferments. It's not healthy. It's not safe. It's just not what you want. All right, so you get all your sticks in there, and now I'm going to add a little bit of these roasted red pepper flakes into my jars. Remember, I've got ginger in there already. You don't have to add in any of those extras. You can just put the vegetable in there if you want. That's totally fine. But we're going to do some spicy ginger ones. And you can play around with it. Like, there's no rule to this. You literally can just make up whatever version you want to do of this. Isn't that fun? Now, salt. Don't do it the way I'm about to do it. I'm just eyeballing it because I made a lot of these different ferments. You can actually weigh it out. So with these ferments, you want about a 2 to 4% brine solution. So you need to weigh how much your vegetables are, weight-wise, and then you need to calculate the 2 to 4% of that, and that weight of salt gets mixed in with those vegetables. As you can see, I'm not doing that. And this process, the way I'm doing it, is just randomly guessing. Works sometimes, but you sometimes really mess things up and ruin it, and then have things that are way too salty. We're gonna hope that doesn't happen. There we go. So now I've got everything packed in. The ginger's in there, the roasted red pepper flakes are in there, salt's in there. They're all packed down. Now the hard part. Water. That's all you do now, and you can see that. Just high enough that all the vegetables are submerged. That's the key. And because they're sticks, parsnips, you're doing carrots, they will sit underneath there. They'll hold themselves underneath there, so you don't need to use weights. So I have all sorts of fancy weights when I do other ferments. Oh, there we go. But I don't need them for this. And this is it. Like, this is pretty much the whole process. Everything's submerged under there. Probably just do a touch more on that one because that one's sticking up. All right. You see how complicated this is? Now we get really serious and we're going to seal these with the jar lids. Now, I've never done parsnips before, but I think I mentioned earlier, this kind of shows the versatility. This is the same process to ferment anything. If you're going to do sauerkraut, if you're going to do kimchi, if you're going to do all any types of vegetables, it's the same process. Some vegetables, like cauliflower and other ones, if you want to keep crispy, if you want to ferment like pickles, you have to have tannins in there. So grape leaves work really well. Don't worry about that for this. There you go. Fermented. Now look, I said already, see, I did some carrots. Now, I don't know if this is going to explode on me. So something you need to do as they ferment, and so these have been fermenting for about a week and a half. These vegetable ferments, you're going to go 4 days, 7 days. As they ferment, it's creating gases. And so you'll see that fizz up there? Is that going to come over on me? Maybe. But that is the action at work. So you can see all that fizz on there, right? And it smells, oh, those carrots, they're going to be so good. So as they ferment for those first 5 days, every 24 hours or so, just loosen the lid, let some of the gas out and seal it back up, just so your jars don't explode. Like for example, this one here is close to exploding. I don't know if you can see, but the lid is pretty tight. Let's see what happens if I open this. Yeah, that one's definitely, look at that. So I haven't opened these before. Let's do a taste test. So these are carrots, which is what you're going to do. See, they've been in there probably, I've been doing these a week and a half now. Still have a crunch. Totally delicious. So you get that nice sour pickle kind of taste. All fermented. Bacteria is so good for you. And that's how you do it. So that's your first ferment. Carrots. I'm doing parsnips. Play around with it. Message me. Let me know how it goes.